Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and hope everybody's having a good day out there today, and really appreciate y'all making some time to check the video out. And we're going to be talking about the Bassmaster Elite Series tournament that wrapped up today at the Albemarle Sound, and how, guys, this is going to come back and haunt Bassmaster in a big way. I can promise you, after hear me out on this video and look at this thing for really what it is. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, a big thank you out there for everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. Really appreciate it if you've done that. We're really marching hard to get to 150,000 subscribers and making some good progress. And also, guys, right now, Tackle Warehouse has got a big spring blowout sale going on, 35% off on about anything on the website. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you want to use that link to get some good buys on tackle. It's a good way to help everything out here, so I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, before I get started in this, I wanted to clarify one thing right off the bat, because there's a lot of people, when I do videos like this, they just hear what they want to hear. When I start this critique on this particular episode, this is in no way critiquing the anglers that did well in this tournament. Whoever, the winner, anyone that got a check, congratulations to those guys. Even if you use forward-facing sonar, they played within the rules of the organizations. I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm not saying a bad word about the anglers. Let's get that straight right off the bat, because there's a lot of people that every time I do this, they think I'm insulting the anglers. No insult. Congratulations to everybody that did good in this tournament. Okay, given that, let's talk a little bit about why this is going to be a PR disaster for Bassmaster. Because if you guys haven't seen some of the stuff, and I haven't watched everything, but everybody's been forwarding me clips. This tournament, it was probably more than any tournament that has ever been televised. It showcased using forward-facing sonar and spotlighting for nesting bedding bass in this particular tournament. Which there is so much that is bad about this, and so much negativity around it. I want to get into that in today's video, and then obviously want to get your guys' opinion on this as well. So first of all, let's break this whole thing down, why this is going to be so bad for Bassmaster. First of all, fishing for bedding fish, even without spotlighting them, is a terrible conservation practice. And Bassmaster has always, they used to pride themselves back in the 70s on being the leader in conservation efforts. When you are trying to catch bass, when they're trying to spawn and lay eggs and reproduce, and you're trying to interrupt that cycle that is so critical for the sustainability and the future of our sport, I don't understand why this continues to go on to this day. And first of all, before we get into this, everybody say, "Oh, Randy, you're a hypocrite. You fish tournaments on the spawn all the time." That's because we have to. If you want to be a professional tournament fisherman, you have to go where the schedule's at. We can't set the schedule. All we can do is interject our viewpoint why this is a bad thing. So when you're talking about just from a reproduction standpoint, catching bass off the beds is like allowing hunting when when the deer are getting ready to give birth to their babies. There's no difference with it. So I don't understand why it's so difficult for tournament organizations just to not have bass during the prime spawning periods. It's like, why can't you have the tournament, have them in January, have them in December, have them in November, stop having them in between mid-March and the last part of April when the predominant spawning is going on. It's so easy to get around that. And here's the thing by doing that, it's like, not only this is a terrible conservation practice, but think about this for a second. In this particular tournament, when you're showing how spotlighting for bass, how effective it is to catch giant bass off the beds, let's take, for example, if the general public picks up on this and everybody starts getting this, panoptics, and the technology advances for the spotlighting in shallow water like it's continuing to do. Let's say this becomes a thing where the general public, and you got millions of people, start using forward-facing sonar to catch bass off the beds. Is that not obvious what's going to happen? People say, "Randy, you're full of it. You don't have any data or any type of proof that forward-facing sonar harms the fisheries." You can't tell me that if you got thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people using forward-facing sonar to catch big female bass off the bed and take them off the nest while they're trying to lay eggs, take the male bass off the bass while they're trying to guard the fry, the whole 9 yards. If you can't see that how destructive that is to the sport and the future sustainability of the sport, I don't know what to tell you, because there's nothing more obvious than that. So just from a conservation standpoint, Bassmaster is going to get annihilated by this, because it is an irresponsible practice. It's probably the most irresponsible thing I've ever seen tournament organizations allow, is to allow anglers to spotlight for bass off of their nests. It's absolutely pathetic. Okay, on top of that, let's look at the PR standpoint of it. Most people, the general public, is outraged at the idea about bass anglers yanking bass off the beds. I've seen it before. I've seen little old ladies on their boat dock before, where some dude will run in there, and see a bass spawning under their bed, yanks a 4 or 5 pounder out from underneath this lady's dock, and she's just like cussing up and down. You don't think that from a PR perspective, when you have people that are already on the fence, like PETA and all the people that are sort of anti-fishing a little bit, and even people that are not anti-fishing but they're conservation minded, you don't think that allowing fishing for bedding bass with forward-facing sonar is not going to be a PR disaster for any tournament organization? That is like, between the conservation aspect of it and the PR aspect of it, and just the sportsmanship and the fair chase aspect of bass fishing, what the hell are we doing? It's like, what is the matter with these tournament organizations that they continue to do this? And now it's been kicked up to a whole new level, because I've always talked about it, guys. This whole forward-facing sonar spotlighting crap that has already begun to decimate all of the sanctuary areas offshore for the fish. When they start advancing this technology to where, like we were at Kentucky Lake last week, and there was guys spotlighting for bass in the flooded bushes. When you start advancing this technology where you're exploiting every single possible hiding place for bass, if they're bedding, if they're on a bush, if they're on a lay down tree, if they're out in the middle of the lake, they got nowhere else to hide. It's like, it doesn't take a stretch of the imagination to understand this is not a sustainable practice. It's an irresponsible practice, and it's irresponsible on the tournament organizations that are continuing to allow this. So I'm just disgusted by it. Like I said, I'm not slamming the people that did well in the tournament, because again, they played within the rules. So I'm not gonna say anything bad about somebody that was doing that, but I am gonna say something bad about the tournament organizations for forcing those anglers to have to use that technology to compete. Because anymore, guys, I'm telling you right now, if you don't utilize that spotlight machine in your tournament fishing, you cannot compete. You can't. And you take that away from there. It's just like in this tournament coming up, if you took away forward-facing sonar from all the people that were catching them using bed fishing, they wouldn't catch a fraction of those fish that they caught with the forward-facing sonar. And it should be like that. This is just like, it's just, like I said, it's just irresponsible. It's disrespectful for the fish. It's like, I can't even wrap my mind around it. I can't wrap my mind around this fact that we are undermining the future of the brood stock in our lakes across the country. We're shooting ourselves in the foot by encouraging and allowing people to catch fish off the bed now with forward-facing sonar that makes it like there's nowhere for them to hide. Before, it's like it was some type of a challenge to catch fish off the bed, because you had to be able to see them and you had to read the fish. But now you're looking down an electronic unit and you're scanning areas that were normally you didn't know the fish were bedding there. You had no clue there were bedding fish. Now they can't escape anywhere. They got no hiding places whatsoever. So this whole thing is going to come back and haunt Bassmaster, because Bassmaster people are already outraged at this whole forward-facing sonar debacle that the tournament organizations have. And when this gets out, and I've already seen it in my comments, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of comments about people just disgusted by it. When this starts to get out, Bassmaster is going to get a kick in the nuts over this, like if they didn't need another kick in the nuts already. So one of these days, people are just, hopefully they're going to wake up one day and say, guys, what are we doing? It's like Bassmaster, MLF, any tournament organization, it's like, we are freaking killing ourselves here. Why are we undermining the future of our sport? Why are we undermining the sport that we love? Why are we shooting ourselves in the foot by the stupid damn electronic forward-facing sonar crap? And it's reached a precipice. You know, if you're paying attention, guys, unless you're under a rock, the last 2 or 3 months, or actually since about the first of the year, the general public is outraged at it. They don't have any more patience for it. It's like they tolerated it a little bit over the past couple of years, but it's reached to the point now where it's such a dominant technique that has degraded the sport that everybody's speaking out against it. So anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think about it, and we'll talk later.